Hello everyone, I am Saimukul. I am a student of English Care. Today I am here to talk about an interesting topic. The name of the topic is about Gupta Dynasty. You may not have known about Gupta Dynasty, but you might have known about Mauryan Dynasty. Then what is Gupta Dynasty? And who were its rulers? Gupta Dynasty is one such dynasty with three important rulers: Chandragupta the first, Samudragupta, and Chandragupta the second. So you may see that there are two linking to the Chandragupta the first and the Chandragupta the second. And in middle there is a ruler named Samudragupta. Who is that? First we can see about Chandragupta the first. Chandragupta is the most famous Gupta ruler. He conquered all the places and he was so powerful. Chandragupta the first. In olden days, they don't have much name to rule or name all the rulers. So they will name some very important rulers and they will name the other rulers by some linking names like Chandragupta the first and Chandragupta the second. Chandragupta the first is the father of Samudragupta. After the period of Chandragupta the first, and it's the time for the Samudragupta to rule his Gupta dynasty. We can see about Chandragupta the second later. And who is Samudragupta? And who or what was his famous for? And what did he do? Samudragupta. Some might have known about Samudragupta. He is the most powerful ruler in the Gupta dynasty. While he was the king of the kingdom, he also had a court poet. His name was Ravikirti. He wrote a Prashasti. Prashasti is a book which has long words like a poem, and his full detail was written in Prashasti by his court poet Ravikirti. And what did he write there? Let's see. He wrote that Samudragupta, he described that he was a warrior, he was a king who won victories in battle, who was learned and the best of poets. He was also described as equal to the gods. His kingdom is also called an empire. And then what was he famous for? Samudragupta. He is the one who conquered most of the places in the Gupta dynasty. He is the one and only person who is named even today. And he had totally conquered many places. We can see some important places. Aryavarta. It is the place with 9 rulers. They all surrendered to Samudragupta. But after being defeated, there was a long fight. But however, Samudragupta won because his body was most charming and he had axes, weapons, and many herds made upon of different weapons. And after the defeat, the Aryavarta gave back their kingdoms to the Samudragupta, and their kingdoms were made as a part of Samudragupta's empire. And Dakshinapada. Here there were 12 rulers and they also surrendered to Samudragupta. But the different thing is he gave back their own kingdoms to them but to rule again his control. Then what was the difference between Dakshinapada and Aryavarta and how did he follow them? In Aryavarta there was a long fight. After the defeat, he decided he should follow the Aryavartas very strictly. He ruled very them strictly. He put in prison and gave them many tortures. But on the other hand, if you see about Dakshinapada, he didn't do anything. He just gave back their kingdom and to rule under his control. And you can ask, why separated Dakshinapada? Because they brought tribute for him and followed his orders after the defeat. But on the other hand, if you see about Aryavarta, they are angry that we were defeated by Samudragupta. So Samudragupta ruled them very strictly and he killed him and tortured him. And Dakshinapada, they were very free and they have got the ruling to rule again. And the next topic we are going to see about Pulikeshin II. Who was Pulikeshin II? Before that, I can tell you about the Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II is the son of Samudragupta. Because there are two links. He gave his father's name to his son's name. And the Chandragupta II was not a most famous ruler, not at all. He just ruled. He had a luck that wherever place he go, he put battles, he won. And in the Prashasti, they didn't mention that what happened to him after a war. He went to a war, but they didn't describe the name of the war and who was the king. But however, he won that, and he came to the South India. On that time, they called the South India with different place names, but we don't know after when he came to South India, we don't know what had happened to him. Some others might say that maybe any flood maybe attacked him, or some other suspicious guy must have killed him. But we don't know what had happened to him since today. And we can talk about Pulikeshin too. He was the most famous ruler in Pallava dynasty. So, sir, Pulikeshin too was a king, but his Prashasti didn't mention him to which dynasty he belonged. And Pulikeshin too was a great ruler, and he defeated Harshavardhana. Who is Harshavardhana? Harshavardhana is also a ruler of a dynasty. He ruled many places and conquered many places, but comparing to Samudragupta, he didn't rule much places. And there is an interesting topic that people might say at that time. And Samudragupta's brother had ruled Bengal, and the ruler of Orissa killed him. So Samudragupta killed him violently. And Harshavardhana, he is a poet and a courtier and both a ruler. He ruled all over the places and won victories in battles. But when he come to know about the North India, and he was stopped by a ruler, that is Pulikeshin II, and he was stopped by him and killed him. Well, he was going to enter into Pallava dynasty. Pulikeshin II is the king of Pallava dynasty, but we don't know about his real biography. Is he belong to the Pallava dynasty or some other dynasty? But that's not true. But some people will say that he belonged to Pallava dynasty. And he stopped Harshavardhana there and killed him there. And his court poet described that Harsha means happiness. Harshavardhana was no longer Harsha. He lost his happiness after this defeat because he didn't have much bad defeat at that time. So he was killed by Pulikeshin II. Then there was a Pallava king who took shelter in the walls of Kanchipuram. Why he took shelter? Because he was afraid of Pulikeshin II. And there was a fight between Pulikeshin II and Pallava king. And however, all the armies of the Pallava king were afraid and went away from there, whereas the Pulikeshin II army is standing firmly. And at that time, they two were fighting, and tragically, suspiciously, the Pallava king escaped from there, and he took shelter behind the walls of Kanchipuram. And Pulikeshin II came to know about this, and he went there, and he also attacked the Pallava king who took shelter behind the walls of Kanchipuram. And the one and only mystery which we don't come to know about today is what happened to Chandragupta II and what he happened. That's the one and only mystery we don't know in the Gupta dynasty. Thank you. Have a nice day.